Hello everyone, and welcome to another sketch and chat with me video where I do real-time drawing, and you guys are more than welcome to grab a sketchbook or something to work on and just keep me company for however long I decide to do this video. I know I mentioned before that my goal is kind of 10 to 15 minutes, but after the first video I realized that 10 to 15 minutes is actually not a lot of time, especially for me because I'm a very slow artist. And I realized that when I film, I want to be able to capture more of my drawing process than just 10 to 15 minutes because that really isn't going to cover much. So this is still a work in progress as to like how I want to do this video series. But today, so I was initially planning to do like a completely like draw from scratch, but then I realized that if I were to condense this into 10-15 minutes, there would be like nothing. Like this sketch right here took maybe like 30 minutes or so to do, and so I figured for today's video, I was just gonna show kind of like my sketching cleanup process, since my sketch process is kind of like 2 steps. So the first one is mostly like thumbnailing and just doing really loose lines just to get a gist of like what I want to draw, and then after that I go over it again to just kind of do some touch up and clean up the sketch a little bit more so that it's easier when I go over it in line art. So that's what I'm going to be doing today with you guys, and I don't know if it's going to take much longer than 10 to 15 minutes to finish this up, and we are definitely not going to get through the line art process today. But if you guys prefer to see more like finished drawing process videos, then I would just kind of like Frankenstein multiple filming sessions and just condense it into a single video. And then depending on how long that takes, I might make it more like my previous videos where some parts are sped up. But I feel like that kind of defeats the purpose of the whole like sketch and chat with me, kind of low stress, minimal editing for these videos. So we will see how things go. I also have been trying some live streaming from Instagram. Granted, like the layout there is not the best, but unfortunately with YouTube, until I get 1,000 subscribers, I cannot do a live stream from my phone, and so that is difficult to do. In trying to like do a workaround to like connect my phone to somehow my laptop so that I could stream from my laptop. And it just seems way too tedious. So if you guys prefer to do more like long like chat with me types of live streams, I do that on my Instagram account, and I will post that down below in the description as usual, as well as on the screen if you guys want to check that out. There's really no schedule for my live streams on Instagram, especially because it's just whenever I have the time. But the past 2 times I've done it, it was kind of like a Saturday night, just kind of winding down, since I do get 2 days off based on my 12 plus 2 schedule. So usually Saturday nights are a good time for me to kind of have that time to do a live stream with the Instagram live feature. And it's definitely nicer because then I actually get to like have a conversation with you guys and interact with the chat, as opposed to doing something like this where I'm filming it and just like talking to the void. But yes, so today I am doing more Shaman King fan art. I have been slowly watching some episodes of the Japanese anime, the original one, and I'm just like still super hyped for the reboot. I wish it would come out sooner than spring of next year. But I recently discovered that they are doing like a rerun or like a reproduction of some of their Shaman King figurines, since I think there was like a 10-year anniversary for the series in 2018, and now that there's a reboot announced, they're kind of like doing a reproduction of the figurines that they had created for the 10-year anniversary. And I saw these 2 of Yo and Hao, and I was just like, oh my gosh, these figurines are absolutely gorgeous, and I'm so tempted to just get them and like just drop, I think it's like $260-ish for the 2 figurines total. So it's not terrible, but at the same time I'm like, oh, that's still a lot of money to drop on figurines that are just gonna, you know, just sit on my shelf, but they're so pretty, and I'm just gonna show them on screen just to show you guys like, oh, they're just so gorgeous. I really want them. So I'm like struggling right now, like, oh, do I want to impulse buy? Do I want to just sit on it for maybe a week? But yeah, so lots of Shaman King fan art. I actually have been doing other doodles on my Instagram live stream, more of my OCs. So if you guys want to see more of that, feel free to check out my Instagram account. And if you don't have a chance to stop by, you can always just wait until I do my sketchbook tour whenever I finish this ELO sketchbook, because then you guys will get to see all of the drawings that I have been putting in here. And I think with this piece, I am going to try to color it. I haven't decided if I want to try like markers or colored pencils, because I did get some brand new Prismacolor colored pencils and I'm really dying to try them out. I haven't really had a chance to do much with them besides like swatching, just because I've been like in a drawing mood where I do a lot of sketches, and then I might do the line art and add like a block of color for the background, but that's pretty much it. But as you can see, my sketches are incredibly messy. Like these lines are just everywhere. I'll kind of zoom in to show you guys. But as you can see, there are messy lines everywhere, and it's hard to kind of know which lines I'm going to finalize for the line art. So that's why I kind of go over it again a second time with the pencil before I decide to do any kind of line art. Otherwise I'm going to get really confused as to like, oh, which lines was I supposed to actually go over with the ink, and which ones were, you know, just messy lines that I meant to just ignore eventually. But all right, let me just stabilize this camera. Okay, back to drawing. Oh, this is not very ideal. So something I've realized with this camera and the tripod setup is that it works great when I have it level on the table, but then the camera only captures like the, I guess the part of the sketchbook that's like on the left side. And then if I want to film like things that I'm drawing on this right side, I have to prop it up like on the sketchbook. So as you can see, like the leg right here, which is on the sketchbook, but then like one of the tripod legs is off the sketchbook. So I'm trying to kind of balance it on a box to keep it level, but it's very unsteady. So I am gonna have to eventually figure out what I want to do with my setup. Like, do I only want to show you guys drawings from like the left side of my sketchbook so that it's a more stable setup, or do I try something else, maybe an overhead, but that tends to make things a little bit harder because that requires me moving to my other table to film, since the gooseneck clamp would not fit on this current table that I'm working on. But yes, there is a lot of trial and error, so please bear with me. Again, I'm always open to feedback, so if there are suggestions or if you are fine with very makeshift crude videos, please let me know so I know what works, what doesn't work, what really needs to be addressed for next time versus things that are like, it's manageable. Yeah. And then the music today is just cafe music, background music, from Bossa Nova. Let me just pull up what the channel name is. Yeah, it's just Cafe Music BGM channel. They have really nice background music, and it's really good study music. I used it a lot in med school since when I study, I like having some kind of background noise that isn't like terribly distracting, but I prefer to have like silence filled up with some kind of music or some kind of background noise. And given that we're already at 10 minutes, I am definitely not going to finish cleaning up this sketch for you guys if I were to stick to the 10-15 minute mark. So maybe I will do both, like however long it takes for me to finish cleaning up both of these, and then I'll do a separate video of the line art process. But yeah, I finished another 2 weeks of service at the hospital. I'm still doing inpatient, and I just finished 2 weeks of the pulmonology service. So lots of kids with tracheostomies and mechanical ventilation devices to help them breathe. There are a lot of reasons why a child would be put on a tracheostomy tube or mechanical ventilator. But a very common one is if they are born prematurely, since your lungs are the last organs to fully develop. So if you are a premature baby, your lungs may not fully develop before you are born. So then you require kind of like a breathing tube to be put into your throat to help you breathe, and then a mechanical ventilator if you don't have the muscles or the energy to breathe on your own. But for kids in that situation, I mean, they sometimes, I think around like the age of 1 or 2, if they're doing very well, they might have that removed when their lungs are much more developed. And then starting tomorrow, on Monday, I will be doing the general pediatrics inpatient ward, so just like non-specialty kids who are admitted to the hospital. So I'll be doing 2 weeks on the non-COVID team, and then my last 2 weeks will be on the COVID team. But from my understanding, it sounds like for the patients with COVID, I don't actually go into their room. Like I would call them in the morning and call their room and see how they're doing. And then if there was an emergency that required someone to go in and check on them, that would be the senior resident's responsibility. Since I'm an intern, I would not be going into those rooms. But it sounds like even on the COVID team, last week they only had like 3 cases. So even though it's called a COVID team, it doesn't necessarily mean that everyone on that team has COVID. I think it's more just like, okay, this is the service for like any patients who have COVID are automatically just routed to this team just for safety of all the other teams, to just kind of condense them to a single team. Also, Hao's outfit is so complex. They're trying to draw it in like chibi form is proving quite challenging since there are a lot of details. I had actually done a live stream of another drawing I had of Hao, and I minimalized a lot of his outfit because I was like, there's just too many details. But one of these days, maybe I will get it right. And I hope that you guys are having a good weekend. At least where I'm at, I feel like the weather is slowly starting to cool off a little bit. I'm getting sad because the sun goes down much earlier now. It's like it'd be 8:30 p.m. and the sun's already down and it's dark out, and I'm like, no, like winter is coming soon. And like I welcome the cooler weather, but at the same time, like I'm really spoiled, and I think I've mentioned it before, but I just do not like weather that's too cold or too hot. Like it needs to be just right. Otherwise, I just don't enjoy it. So I feel like right now the weather is pretty reasonable. It's like high 70s, maybe low 80s, not as humid anymore. And I'm like, man, if it could just stay like this forever, that would be wonderful. Also, how has these I call them like Lego shoes and Lego gloves because that's literally what they look like. And now I'm encroaching on my other doodle. So I was drawing Rain and Denzel on this other page and kind of streaming that on my Instagram live stream. I considered making that a video for my YouTube channel, but then I realized like on the live stream I already like did some of the line art, so it'd be weird just starting from like, I don't know, in the midst of my line art process. So that will just be, I guess, an Instagram exclusive piece. But of course, again, when I do my sketchbook tour, you guys will see that piece. And I will also post the finished one as just like a normal social media post on my Twitter and Instagram. So feel free to follow me on those sites if you have an account and want to see all of my works before I do a sketchbook tour. I'm pretty sure Howe's shoes have his name on it. At least on his gloves, I know. Like on these little circle-y things. Okay, I think his is pretty much finished. And then we'll just move on to Yo. Move this camera a little bit and hope that it doesn't topple over because it is quite unsteady. Oop. This is not working very well. Okay, let's hope it stays. Okay. But yeah, if only there was a way for me to stream onto YouTube without needing the 1,000 subscriber requirement before I'm allowed to stream from my mobile phone. So back when I did a lot of digital art, I would stream with XSplit and stream to like Picardo, or I think it was literally just called Livestream. I think that was the name of the site. But since I don't do digital art as much anymore, I was like, well, maybe there's a way to, like an app so that I could stream what my phone is filming to my laptop and then somehow capture that on XSplit and then stream that to YouTube, but it was just too much to try to figure out. So I think for now I will just have to stick to Instagram's live stream feature, which really isn't the best because it doesn't really allow you to do a landscape like layout when you're filming, but it's all we've got, so we will work with it. And then I will definitely try, if I ever make it to 1,000 subscribers, because I've realized like it's definitely more fun to be able to interact with the chat than to just be like talking to the void and hoping that people will comment down below in the comment section when I upload this. I used to draw Yo a lot when I was younger because he was like my favorite character in Shaman King when I was growing up. And I had the biggest anime crush on him. And because I drew him so much, I feel like I have kind of learned how his headphones look, that I could draw it like from just muscle memory, which is crazy. Because I remember when I first started drawing fan art of him, like that was the hardest thing, was headphones. I feel like headphones in general can be difficult to draw, at least for me. Because I know another character with headphones is Alba from Dramatical Murder, and drawing his headphones were also a pain. You know, there's so many lines, I feel like everything's getting really messy. I gotta figure out How's arm amidst all of this mess right here. Like, I guess I could put Yo in front, which means I would extend his hair like this. I think that makes more sense than trying to figure out which parts overlap and which parts don't. I think we're just gonna do that. Use my eraser. Try to clean it up, even though I've been drawing with quite the amount of pressure, so it's not gonna erase that well. But I think this should be good enough to at least tell, okay, everything should be drawn on top. So, his headphones, his hair. Oh, this camera is not very steady. I'm gonna have to think of something to keep this level. Okay. I'm like so afraid if I like put any pressure that this camera is gonna tilt forward. But I think also partially my fault because I have my camera attached not in the most even sense. So it's definitely top heavy and has a tendency to lean kind of this way. But we're already near the 30-minute mark, almost. So much for a short 10-15 minute series. I guess that would only be ideal if it's like, I don't know, maybe like the very initial drawing stages, or if I were to just do like coloring. I don't know. let's see, if we wanted to do the scabbard, I think that's what it's called. It's like the sword hilt thing. I should really be using a ruler, but oh well. Guess if we've decided that Yo is going to be the character on top, we'll just do some cleanup. And I honestly don't know how well color is going to look over this, because these lines are definitely not going to erase that cleanly once I put the ink on. But it'll just be like a messy colored doodle, I guess. So overall, I'm still pretty happy with how it's turning out, but we will see once I lay the ink down how badly I'm going to mess up the lines. Okay. We're almost done. But also, if you guys were working on something like doodling alongside with me, you can always tag me, like if you decide to post that art on social media. I do have all of my social media handles down below in the description. Mostly it's my Twitter and Instagram, so if you guys end up posting things, feel free to tag me because I love seeing what you guys make while you keep me company. One, two, three. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Alright, last part, the eyes, and then we will be done. I might just go ahead and film the line art process for this and just upload it as a separate video. And I think that's pretty much it. I'll just add some fire over here, because how can manipulate fire, and I feel like that just makes this piece look a little bit more interesting. I don't know. I don't know how to draw fire, but there we go. And then we would definitely lighten up this part behind the fire. Alright, so that's pretty much it for today. Just zoom in so you guys can see kind of the details. But thank you again for stopping by, keeping me company. I hope that you guys are enjoying this series so far. Again, I am always open to feedback, so let me know what's working, what's not working. If you guys have any preferences in terms of like the length of the video or anything else really. But I hope you guys have a good rest of the day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!